Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I want to thank Adweek for having us here to present what we've been doing in our program with our partner Snapchat and IPG. I'm guessing that because you're all here, like me, you opted to not go to the Nas show last night. I thought about doing it, but then I confirmed my date of birth on my driver's license and said, no, you're too old for that stuff. Thank you so much. It's nice of you to say that. So I guarantee you guys, and I can do that with confidence, guarantee that this will be time well spent learning about the companies in our program. I can say that with confidence because of the way that we've designed the programs, which is different than other innovation programs that you may have seen demo days for. We started the program with Stephen Plumley, our global COO, and Bob Greenberg, our founder, based on the idea that RGA was uniquely positioned to be able to provide value within the startup ecosystem. RGA is unique amongst the agency world in that it's a business and technology strategy company, but it's also a product development company and a marketing and communications agency. And so we knew that that mix would provide great value to startups, to corporate partners, to investors, to be able to provide a higher level of engagement, a higher level of value throughout the course of the programs. And we saw that success in the first few years of our programs. But then we noticed that there was another potential there that we could tap into. And it was RGA's unique access to understanding our corporate partners and our clients' markets to be able to look at the lay of the land of the technology that's being developed and the potential to apply that technology to very specific business unit level market opportunities, and then go out and find startups that we believe could fit that, work collaboratively with our clients and corporate partners to vet those opportunities before we bring them into the program, select a handful of them, leverage the program to provide those resources from our business strategy, from our product development, from our branding, marketing, communications, and then use the time during the program to apply some of those actual pilots, point of proof of concepts. So that's the reverse of the traditional program approach, which is let's go out and find 10 interesting startups and then provide them with resources and see what they can do. But our ability to leverage our financial capital with what we call our creative capital, with which we call our client relationship capital, creates a new paradigm, and you're going to see the result of that today. It's not the easiest way to go about running an innovation program, but we think the value is there and it's worth the effort. So with that, we have to thank our partners, IPG, who has always supported us in our programs at the highest levels with Michael Roth, Frank Mergenthaler, Philippe Krakowski, always showing us great levels of support. But in this case, we also included other other agencies within the IPG structure, which we also have to thank, which include, excuse me really quick while I advance that, include our partners, Media Brands, IPG Media Labs, Golan, Weber Shadrick, and Cadreon, all of whom provided us with access to their client projects, to their vision of what is changing in this landscape of marketing and communications and how we can apply these technologies. And then we were supported also by American Airlines, Intel, and Intertech Ventures, who again, understanding that it's not always a one-to-one. We find a startup, we apply it to our business, and we're going to see market change. It usually takes a partnership. It takes a partnerships of existing telecoms, existing technology companies, existing infrastructure that you may have along with the startup. And so approaching it from that level has really provided us with a unique opportunity to go after real market, the potential for market change. So with that, I'd also like to shout out our partner, Snap Inc., who has provided us with a really unique experience of being able to look at what is shaping the future of marketing and communications. And I'm sure that's a subject of great import in this week as we enter into Ad Week, is understanding how will the consumers shift in how they are consuming media, how they're consuming advertising. How is that changing? And then to work with Snapchat at this time has been uniquely important to really think about how they have such unique access to dedicated consumers who on average spend 28 minutes a day on their platform. And how will we create and promote the tools, the analytics, the content creation platforms to be able to reach that audience, to be able to tap into their unique understanding of that audience and leverage it for our brand's communications and experiences that we're creating with our consumers as we move forward in this changing industry. So big thanks to them for their support and the access that they provided us in this program. So with that, to talk a little bit more about that and to share more of our perspective on this program, I'd like to introduce Jean Morrow, who participated as entrepreneur in residence. Sorry, I'm a clicker failure today, who participated as entrepreneur in residence, providing the strategic insights that I talked about earlier, really working with our corporate partners to identify what are the opportunities, who are the best startups, and what do those startups need to do to be able to provide those resources, technologies, products, and services that are going to make that change that we've been talking about. And so with that, Jean Morrow.
Good morning, everybody. So I'll be brief. Jonathan covered a lot of territory there. I'll just mention quickly that, as Jonathan said, we work very closely with our corporate partners on finding and investing in companies that fit within a specific category of their core business. With Snapchat, that meant honing in on companies that were going to help their ad platform scale in a couple of key areas. Those areas included content creation, analytics, e-commerce, and consumer insights. We started this program back in February, and we were looked at the time a little over 700 companies. So we're going to hear today from the 8 companies that we ultimately invested in and that we've been working very closely with since May. I'm going to get us started here with Elias, who fits within the mobile wallet category. Elias is the founder and CEO of Pop Wallet, a company we're really excited about and a story I think you're going to really enjoy. Elias, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elias Guerra, a founder and the CEO of Pop Wallet. Now, we help marketers achieve their #1 objective. I mean, some people would even say it's marketing's entire reason for existence, which is literally popping open and getting into people's wallets. Mobile wallets like Apple Wallet, Android Pay, Samsung Pay represent a massive, yet today largely untapped marketing opportunity, providing tremendous scale, deep consumer engagement, and total measurement. Let me explain. When most people think about mobile wallets, they think about payments. And that payment activity is increasing globally as more and more people use their phones to buy things, both in-store and online. But there's this whole other side to the mobile wallet, the branded content side, supporting use cases that are specific to that mobile consumer experience. Now, these mobile wallets first came out several years ago, but it was about 2 years ago when the landscape really changed, when they were by default pre-installed on almost every single new smartphone. Now, why is that important? Well, fast forward a few years from now, when by 2020, it's estimated there'll be 5 billion global smartphones with one of these mobile wallets pre-installed. 5 billion. And just put that in context, there will be about 8 billion people total on Earth. More than every other person on the planet will be reachable through their mobile wallet. In addition to this tremendous scale, they provide deep consumer engagement through capabilities like dynamic content updates, geographic awareness, even lock screen notifications. This lock screen is becoming some of the most valuable real estate there is, and mobile wallets make it possible for brands to be there. They also help marketers solve one of the biggest challenges that exists in marketing today, attribution, by directly connecting mobile engagement to real-world commerce. Now, our team at Pop Wallet, we largely come from a company called Flurry, a mobile data and app analytics company that Yahoo acquired a few years back. And at Flurry, we saw vast amounts of data that showed mobile's been great over the years. If you happen to be a game app, a social network, or some utility. But if you're a brand, mobile's been tough. Now, we saw this in the data, but intuitively it makes sense. right? If you're a laundry detergent brand, is somebody going to download and use your laundry detergent app? Of course not. That doesn't make any sense. Yet that brand marketer is still challenged with reaching and engaging people where they spend all their time on mobile in ways that are still native and endemic to that mobile experience. It's a big problem. And that's the problem that Pop Wallet solves through mobile wallet marketing. We are the mobile wallet marketing company. It is our entire business focus, working with brands to use mobile wallets to turn communication into conversion. Through our platform, UI and API, we enable the creation of what we call pop cards. These are really solutions that are designed to delight consumers while providing powerful impact for marketers. For example, you can create and deliver a store offer or even a manufacturer coupon that can be tracked, redeemed, and optimized at the individual consumer level. Build and grow meaningful relationships with your best customers, ensuring the right people get the right perks. Manage gift cards that can be redeemed in-store or online. Promote access to special events where that card can actually send pre- and post-event notifications and reminders, truly serving as a new communications channel by which the brand can communicate with that consumer. And finally, tell all kinds of branded stories, from recipes to do-it-yourself manuals to really any lightweight branded content that you, the marketer, wants the consumer to be able to save to their mobile device. Now, these pop cards can be distributed through multiple channels, including paid advertising, social, email, SMS, even QR and other code scanning as a way of bridging the physical and digital worlds. Now, once saved, they can be dynamically updated, pushing new content and messages, enabling the marketer to benefit from that direct one-to-one relationship they have with the consumer on their most personal of all devices. And don't forget about these notifications, sending your brand message to the consumer to move them down the funnel towards conversion. And of course, we also help with the tracking and the attribution of valuable consumer behavior data, showing things like engagement, intent, purchase. Now today, at Pop Wallet, we work with some of the world's most recognizable brands, as well as a number of channel partners to help bring our mobile wallet solutions to market more broadly. And one such new partnership that I'm happy to share details on is with Snap, as one of their new certified creative partners, bringing mobile wallet solutions to their large and deeply engaged millennial audience. I'm also very happy to share that we just entered into an agreement with Oath, who will be selling mobile wallet ads powered by Pop Wallet across their premium Yahoo and AOL branded properties and network. Mobile wallets represent the next big marketing opportunity, providing tremendous reach, deep consumer engagement, and total measurement. And Pop Wallet is the key to unlocking it. So please come talk to me after the show or email me, elias@popwallet.com, to find out more. Thank you.
Thank you, Elias. So, fun fact about Elias, you can tell the company is at a point where its trajectory is really starting to take off. Elias, obviously a very successful and handsome man, our most eligible entrepreneur that you're going to see today. I'll share that with you. And I'll say one thing further, aggressive is to say the least. He uses Bumble and Tinder for lead acquisition, which I think is pretty amazing. So our next speaker comes from a company named Dashbot, which fits within the category of artificial conversational intelligence. And Artie's one of the brightest guys I think I've ever met. A real pleasure to hear from and talk to. He's going to tell you more about Dashbot. Artie, come on up.
Hi everyone, I'm Artie Merritt, the co-founder and CEO of Dashbot. We're a bot analytics platform, and when we refer to bots, we really mean any conversational interface, whether that's more text-based like Facebook and Slack, or voice like Google Home or Alexa. We're big believers in conversation. We see this as the future of how people should interact. If you think about all those videos of the 2-year-olds where they could swipe the iPhone and the iPad, they knew how to interact with those devices. The same thing's happening right now with devices like Alexa and Google Home. Little kids already know how to interact with these. In fact, my co-founder has 2 little kids, and they run up and say, Alexa, play the Happy Dance. Alexa, play Star Wars. They know how to interact. What got us really excited about this space is the data is much richer and more actionable than traditional web and mobile. For starters, it's all unstructured. Users are sending in images and audio and video, but more importantly, they're sending in their own words, their own voice, and they're saying, this is what I want from the bot, and then this is what I think of the bot after, and sometimes it's not too pleasant, but it leads to some pretty interesting actions you can take on the data. We help brands and developers increase user acquisition, engagement, and monetization. We launched a little over a year ago. We processed over 11 billion messages. And just to give you an idea of the growth, it took about 10 months to reach the first billion, 6 weeks for the second, and now we do about 2 billion a month. And at F8, they announced that they were doing 2 billion a month. At that point in time, we saw about 40% of the Facebook traffic. Our customers include folks like AOL, Condé Nast, NBC, Domino's, a whole slew of the top startups out there. And we partnered with folks like Google. They actually asked us to build the analytics for Google Home. Twitter asked us to build the analytics for Twitter DM bots. We support Facebook, Slack, Kik, Google Home, Alexa, and any conversational interface. We have what you would think of as traditional metrics, things like users, sessions, engagement, retention. That's just all table stakes. Where this gets much more interesting is when you look at the conversational analytics, things like sentiment analysis, the AI response effectiveness. One of our really reports that people really like a lot is our message funnels. So with this, you can see any message into or out from the bot and then navigate the flow. So you can imagine if you look at an error message, you can see all the messages that led up to that error message and now go back and add support for it. We also provide the full live transcripts because sometimes it's not an individual message that might be an issue. You want to see the full context. So being able to see the transcripts can be very useful. And we're cross-platform. So if you are building for Alexa and Google Home and Facebook, you can see all the analytics in one place and compare. But we're much more than just the analytics. We provide tools to take action on this data. So one of our tools is the concept of a live person takeover. So you can imagine if you were a hotel and you had a bot and a user was getting stuck trying to book the hotel and getting frustrated, you could actually pause the bot, insert a live person in, and help lead them through to conversion. And we have a whole alerting mechanism around this. We can set up alerts based on what the user says, if the sentiment goes negative, or any condition that you want. We also do push notifications. It's all based on the data, so you can segment the audience however you like, reach people in Spain or someone that said a particular message in the past, and send out those notifications to them. We have a great group of investors. It was led by FFVC, but we have a whole slew of great folks, BDMI, Samsung, RGA, which we really appreciate. If anyone's working on chatbots, whether it's voice or more text like Facebook, and you're interested in the data, please come talk to me after and share some of the insights that we see across all these different platforms, as well as help you, better understand your own bots. Thanks.
Thanks, Artie. So Artie and his team definitely win the award, I think, of most inbound interest from venture capitalists throughout the program. Like every time we turned around, there was another VC saying, we got to get in on this business, which I think is probably a pretty good sign of things to come for you guys. So the next company to present is the Chief Marketing Officer and co-founder of a company called Siteworthy. And Siteworthy first came into the program with what we thought was a great idea. And over the course of the last several months, the idea has turned into what, at least for me, I think seems like a fairly obvious, exceptional idea. And she's going to present that to you now. Come on up, Aneri.
Thanks, Jane. Hello, my name is Aneri, and I am the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Siteworthy. We help brands create custom social video at scale. So my co-founder, Zulay Clark, and I met when we were working together at Shutterstock, and we discovered something really interesting. Video was quickly becoming the most popular form of content. Every single social platform was optimizing for video. Yet, despite having access to millions of assets and producing content regularly, brands still really struggled to produce short-form video for social. So we looked into why. There was a couple reasons. One, they were trying to use their agencies. And agencies are really more geared towards commercial footage, so they were pricing companies out of creating these little videos for social. Or they were trying to hire and manage freelancers, and oftentimes those groups of freelancers were unreliable. Lastly, they were trying to use their in-house video team, and those video teams are so tasked with other things at their company that those projects often became a one-off or landed on the wayside. So we created Siteworthy to help companies transform content that already exists into optimized videos for Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Let's take a look at how this works. One thing we do is we revive the assets that you already have on your hard drives, your archives, the things where you're shooting things, but they sit around and you're not using them. We also repurpose the long-form content that you have sitting on your YouTube or Vimeo channel. You know what I'm talking about, those 5-minute videos that have sat on YouTube, gathering 300 views in the last decade. And this is not theoretical. One of our clients got less than 1,000 views on a YouTube video in over a year. Within 24 hours, they were able to use Siteworthy to get back a Snap ad that got 200,000 views and generated over 200 leads in less than 7 days. So what's going on behind the scenes? What is Siteworthy, right? So one thing that we have recognized is that to create an effective story requires a human touch. So we have built a global, massive, curated network of editors and motion graphics artists. So we are leveraging the gig economy. These freelancers work at places like Google, HBO, and Skillshare, and they specialize in digital media. These are the folks transforming your content. So when you come to Siteworthy's platform, whether you're a brand or you're an agency, you can upload your content or directly link to your YouTube or Vimeo channel, fill out a smart 5-minute brief where you indicate which platforms you want to target and what your goals are. And within less than 24 hours, you get matched to the best editor in the network for your job. And in less than 3 days, and often as quick as 24 hours, you will get a video back that is optimized for the social channel of your choice. And the best part is, this is content you already have. So the content rights are already yours. And these videos are ready for you to post and optimize. On the back end, we're gathering data so that the more times you create video with us, your brief continues to get smarter with this data. And really awesome brands like Sotheby's, like Yardley, like Trello, like MetLife, are using our platform to regularly create video and seeing significant results. It makes sense, right? Social is where all the eyeballs are at. For example, the Sotheby's Institute of Art wanted to engage with more millennials because they needed to up the enrollment for their Institute of Art. But these millennials were not on YouTube, and that's where Sotheby's content was. So we took one of their YouTube videos and created 8 different variations of an Instagram ad, and the winning creative went on to get 1 million views in less than 30 days. Think about that for a second. That video sat on YouTube for 3 years and got less than 400 views. And with Siteworthy, they hit 1 million eyeballs in less than 30 days at a tenth of the cost to produce it. Other times, brands are looking to turn around content even faster at events. For example, Mercedes-Benz was sponsoring Federer during the US Open. They knew that if Federer won, they had to turn around content really fast to be able to engage with their fans in real time. So leveraging their existing assets as well as stock media that they own, we were able to turn around this Instagram video in less than 24 hours, right after Federer won that first round. This video went on to get over 14,000 views in less than an hour. Without Siteworthy, Mercedes-Benz would not have been able to do this. So use Siteworthy. Use Siteworthy because I know that you all have you have existing content that you can leverage, and with Siteworthy you can do it inexpensively, you can do it fast, and you can do it in bulk so you can actually test your way into a strategy that works. And use Siteworthy because for today, I'm giving everybody in the audience a 20% discount. So if you pull out your phones and go to siteworthy.com and sign up today, you can get that discount. And if you have any questions about how our platform works and how you can best leverage what we do, come find me after this and we can chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Aneri. So you could probably start to get a sense now of what I meant earlier when I talked about content creation, Siteworthy being the first of a couple that we're going to hear from today. When we think about advertisers going to the Snap platform, going to Snapchat specifically, looking to create simple, elegant, beautiful, creative, quickly and effectively. Great work, Aneri. So this next company is called Relative Insights. This is Ben. He's the founder and CEO. And he's going to talk to us today about language, how to interpret it, how to think about language as data sets, and how to understand customers and consumers better as a result. Come on up, Ben.
Morning all. So I'm Ben, I'm the CEO, and what we do at Relative Insight is that we help brands and agencies understand their audience by understanding how that audience talks. So everyone talks about a given topic in a slightly different way, with a different style of expression. Everyone has different interests and so on and so on. And what we do is model these audiences at massive scale to help you understand the subtleties between them. So it's ad week, so you're going to hear a lot about technology. You're going to hear a lot about targeting technology, so think of that as who to talk to. However, think of us as the people who tell you how to talk to people. There's no point talking to the right person in the wrong way. So, where did all this enthusiasm for language come from? It didn't come from marketing. Originally, we are a law enforcement company. We do a lot of work with, you didn't expect a cybersecurity lecture this morning. We do a lot of work with UK government. And we were developed as a joint government agency and academic program to uncover masquerading online. So you can imagine there's lots of counterterrorism and fraud examples of that. But we do a lot of work in child protection as well. So the kind of stuff we were designed to do was, in an open chat room or a forum, we know if you're a 13-year-old girl talking, or if you're a 30-year-old man doing a really, really good impression of a 13-year-old girl. And we do that by analyzing language. Now, the key here is to compare them and understand what is different. They might be 98% identical, but you don't care about what's the same. You care about the 2% difference. And when we're all talking to each other, it's the differences that matter, so that's what we do. So we've since turned this into an enterprise-scale analytics platform, and it's being used by some pretty big companies to take their understanding of their audience onto the next level. So, give you a couple of examples. This was for a makeup brand who wanted to understand how different age groups talk about makeup. And if you go to online reviews of makeup, and then you split them by age, and you look at how 20-year-olds review makeup, and you compare that to how 50-year-olds review makeup, and then you compare them, a lot of it's the same because they're talking about makeup. That's to be expected. But when you dig into it, you find that 20-year-olds tend to say they wear makeup. 50-year-olds tend to say they apply makeup. And this is important to know if you're in the cosmetics business, because if you're trying to target young people by saying apply our product every day, you're not talking an authentic language to the right audience. So if you think about this comparison paradigm, you can compare language in lots of different ways. So people in different geographies, compare them, what's the difference? Or how are people talking about your brand now compared with how they were talking about it before the ad campaign you spent all that money on? The delta tells you the actual effect of the ad campaign. Now, the good news is, I'm guessing most of you are sat on data that you can use to do this kind of stuff already. So most people have got social listening or CRM or access to reviews and so on and so on. The problem marketers have is that to access that sort of insight, you have to kind of search for what you think is important rather than kind of discovering new unknown insights. And all you get is sort of data fire hose. And so what we do is that we layer on top of those tools and data sources. We allow you to then compare the language in all kinds of different ways, and you get much, much better results out of it. So here's another one, Tresemme. Tresemme wanted to appeal to women with frizzy hair. So we got involved in helping them out on that. Now, there's a forum for everything. There are forums dedicated for hair care, but there are lots and lots of forums dedicated specifically to frizzy hair. So what you do is that you scoop up all the language on hair care, you scoop up all the language which is frizzy hair, and by comparing them and dropping away what's common, you're left with what specifically frizzy hair enthusiasts, is that the right word? Frizzy hair people tend to say more than regular hair care discussion. And what we found was actually the key word here was smoothness. So frizzy hair enthusiasts tend to talk about smoothness a whole lot. And so this is the kind of language you've got to use in your comms with them to resonate with that audience. So we've been doing some other great work with RGA and the marketing science team with Samsung as well, where we've been modeling entire audiences. So we've identified audiences who've got a preference for one Samsung device or another. But then we grab everything they say, not just when they're talking about Samsung, but everything they say. And by building these up into data models around language, you get a complete picture of what these people care about, what they talk about, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, how they express themselves, what adjectives they use, and so on and so on. And by understanding all of this, you can create much, much better strategy, and you create much more effective communications to these groups. So everything I've just been talking about is a technology-driven process. This is all a tech solution. So it's driven off a dashboard. The way you get access to that, there's a couple of ways. You can either license the tool. So Unilever, for example, licenses the technology. But not everyone's got an insight team or a data team. So if you have a particular project you're thinking about, just come and talk to us and we'll get it all done for you, normally in a matter of days. So it's really simple. We just understand how people talk. People want to be talked to in the way that they talk. It makes life much, much easier for them, much, much easier for you. Everyone's happy. So thanks very much. Come get me afterwards.
Thanks, Ben. Great job. So my wife and I have 4 kids at home, 4 teenagers. And we don't know what the hell they're talking about. We don't understand any of their language. And we're very confident that Ben's going to help us eventually interpret and figure that out. Understanding how teenagers speak, understanding how people speak in general, obviously a key insight. How do you engage particularly kids within that SNAP demographic is a challenge. So we have another company that's going to talk to us about how they're doing that with beautiful sensory advertising. From Adludio, we have the founder and president, Jacques, who's going to tell us more about that now. Come on up, Jacques.
Good morning, everyone. So my name's Jacques, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about how Adludio is approaching this problem of redefining mobile advertising. So I'd like to begin with a very simple question. You all recognize the good old TV. I'd like you each to think of your favorite TV ad. Something that's very memorable, whether it was the last 3 months, just a jingle you can't get out of your head, or something harking all the way back to your childhood, one that evokes positive emotions and makes you feel like a child again. So for me, I'll give away my age and share with you one of my favorites. This is the iconic 1984 Apple Macintosh ad. At the time, it was a real game changer and certainly very memorable for me. Now, if we were to change that question and say, what is your most memorable mobile ad? That's a bit more of a difficult question to answer, and most people really struggle to think of what a good, memorable mobile ad is. And the reason for that is TV is so good at leveraging all its features. It has powerful sound, really emotive images, and it pulls them together in a very memorable package. And we see that as a real lost opportunity because a mobile device is something that you carry with you every single day. You look at the screen more than 100 times in the day, and yet there's all these wonderful ways that you can interact, this myriad of different interactions where you can touch, drag, swipe. You can have tilt interactions that create 3D effects. You can even shake your phone or perhaps even push haptic or vibrational feedback through the phone so that you can feel something right there in your hand. In order to address that opportunity, Adludio has come up with something that we call sensory advertising. The premise is very simple. It's that we take a branded message and build an engagement around that. We then pull in as many senses as we can. The more senses we engage, the more memorable we can help make that advert. And the best way to illustrate this is really through a few examples. And what we really like to do is push the creative envelope in what we're doing. Everyone loves talking about creativity. Everyone needs more creativity in their lives, except for the one person at the back who's generally a developer, who would object, and with good reason. For him, creativity equates to more complexity. Generally means bigger file sizes, means more intricate animation, and it means you need to start worrying about how it might render on an iPhone 8 compared to an old BlackBerry. So in order to solve that problem, AdLudio's got a very unique way of delivering these ad units. We use something called the canvas, which allows for up to 10 times better performance when delivering our ads on a mobile phone. Most importantly, it taps into the functionality of that phone, allowing you to use the accelerometer and the haptics in that mobile device. So here are a few examples. This is for Marks and Spencer's, a big British retailer. And the interaction is very simple. You simply swipe to start the ad experience. But what's different about this ad is that Marks and Spencer's really gave us a video asset to build the ad around. And video is great when you're a captive audience sitting in your living room. But on mobile, things work a little bit differently. You generally have a 3 to 5 second window in which to really engage someone and get them invested in the rest of the ad experience. So hence our approach here to have an interaction that leads into that video. And that produced very good results with 10 times higher engagement rates than standard online video. Next is a Smirnoff ad, where as you tilt the phone, you can see a nice 3D effect. The call to action is to shake the phone, and that then pays off with a cocktail recipe. Very simple, very impactful, and produced phenomenal results with an 8-time greater message association. Next is our Jaguar ad. It starts with the iconic start button. As you push that, you can hear the roar of the engine, and you can actually feel it as well. Then you have this playful interaction where as you tilt the phone, it moves into, you can hear the engine and feel it again. Produced very good results again, very similar to the last one with 8 times higher favorability. So who are we as AdLudio? We are a global company. We're headquartered in London. We have an office in Paris, and we have an office in Singapore servicing the Southeast Asian market. We're also very excited about our New York headquarters, which will service the greater North America. We've been lucky enough to work with some fantastic brands along the way. And whenever we work with these brands, we always try and establish what is their key objective. Is it reach? Is it engagement? Or is it conversion? And then we help them build a campaign and a creative that really speaks to that message and helps them achieve that goal. The vision at AdLudio was always to bring sensory ads to brands and agencies. Today, we're very proud to announce that we're expanding on that vision, and we're now rolling out a set of self-service tools that allow you to build these kind of ad units quickly and easily. Absolutely anyone can do it. But if you feel you don't have the graphical ability or the design intent in-house, you can use one of our designers from our curated marketplace to build these types of ad units in a matter of minutes. Equally important to that vision is to make sure that we can bring our ads to any type of social platform. For that reason, we're also very pleased to announce that we are now creative partners with Snapchat, and we can bring all the benefits of sensory ads to this important social channel. At AdLudio, we are really trying hard to unlock every single feature set that we can on a mobile phone, to bring true creativity back to the mobile and make it as memorable as possible. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacques. Fun fact about Jacques. He's actually an academic research guy that would blow you away if you knew his background in more detail. What he is, though, I think, as you probably just saw, is a hell of a salesman and a hell of an entrepreneur. He's just recently moved his family here to New York to attack that North American market opportunity that I think that slide demonstrated that he alluded to. So I think there's big things in their future. So one of the interesting things, I'm not an agency guy, so I'm a scarred, hard-battled startup guy. And when I came into the opportunity here at RGA, I was curious to see sort of how this was going to operate. And as we looked at innovation, we looked at disruption. How is the agency going to deal with these content creators that, for a fairly naive guy like me, gee, that looks an awful lot like what you guys do, right? We looked a little bit at how Siteworthy's attacking that problem. The next company is QuickFrame, and they're going to show you their approach to it. I can tell you that Dan Cashman, a far more seasoned agency executive than myself, he's been the executive in residence during the program and worked real closely with all our companies. He was quick to identify and eventually help, I think, the agency see this was a huge opportunity to create beautiful creative, to do it in a different way, and to do it in a way that was going to enhance and ultimately create more value for our customers, for our brands. So here from QuickFrame is Lucas. He's going to tell us some more. Come on up, Lucas.
Thank you, Gene. Thanks, everyone, for joining. My name is Lucas Loeffler, CEO and founder of QuickFrame. At its core, QuickFrame is designed to do one thing: to make it easier for brands, media companies, publishers, and agencies to create great original video content. The reality is that video is taking over the world. Never before has there been such an opportunity to take advantage of such a unique communication and monetization currency as is represented with video. The problem with video, however, is that it's a nightmare to scale, costs too much money, takes too much time, and ultimately requires such infrastructure and process that it can be really intimidating to invest in. That's why we created QuickFrame, a platform built specifically for that purpose, designed for scale, optimal efficiency, and volume. QuickFrame affords clients a massive content creator community of over 35,000 global producers, production companies, freelancers, animators, motion graphics creators, you name it. We use this economy to be able to help buyers scale short-form original video output. And we built a platform to help simplify each dimension of the video creation process. Of the thousands of videos that QuickFrame creates for his various brand and publisher clients, over 90% of them are produced within 3 business days for less than $500. Now I know what you're thinking. A platform that helps solve for velocity and cost efficiency? What's the quality like? Allow me to use this one case study, one of the 1,000 videos that we could point to help demonstrate my point. One of these videos was created by QuickFrame, one was not. The reality is that the conventional economics of producing video at scale don't make sense. QuickFrame is not going to produce your next Super Bowl commercial. QuickFrame is designed for visually impactful, quality video at scale. How do we do this? The first part in working with QuickFrame is a scrutinous onboarding process that helps map to how your brand identifies with consumers. A rigorous taste assessment that then moves on to the goals and objectives. And we use this as the basis to harmonize which content creators really understand your brand tone of voice, ethos, and identity. It's great to have over 35,000 global content creators from around the North America and otherwise. But all you care about is that one creator is going to deliver the right business objective for your brand at that moment in time. You can use this content creator and others to create a dynamic diversity of exceptional video content. All of the video behind me was created within 3 business days for less than $1,000 per video. Ultimately, however, we understand that video is a currency, a medium designed to deliver a business objective, which is why we take creating content from an analytical orientation very, very seriously. But data can do a lot more for us than just actual measure results. Data can inform the actual creative of the content itself. One case study from one of our more performance-based buyers, Stash Invest, a mobile fintech startup focused exclusively on engagement and downloads, uses QuickFrame every single week to improve linear results based on video quality. In this example, you can see that the more we actually use the in-app experience in the lifestyle content we're creating, the more engagement and performance went up. When you can create exceptional video quality content for a few $100s in a day, the business implications are far-reaching. One of those implications is localization. The ability to tell custom audiences, custom stories in specific locations. Casper Mattresses, another large client of QuickFrame's focused on performance, uses us to be able to create custom creative all around the globe. Austin, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, San Diego, California. For this slate of programming alone, the blended click-through rate of all of these videos combined was more than double their historical proxy before that. Ultimately, however, there's a lot more that goes into actually creating great video. There's a whole logistical element to the administrative minutia that surrounds video and can be really intimidating for not just legal teams, but business teams looking to have the confidence and clarity to invest in any platform. QuickFrame handles all of this directly through our dashboard to give you guys the peace of mind to really feel confident that we can deliver. It should come as no surprise why some of the biggest brands, media companies, agencies, and publishers use QuickFrame every single day for their short-form original video programming needs. If you're interested in learning more or signing up, please go to quickframe.com or speak to me after the show. I'd be very interested in speaking with you. Thank you so much.
Great job. Thanks so much, Lucas. So going back on that theme around content creation and the beautiful creative and so on and so forth, I've been amazed at how the agencies embraced that and really adopted that. We'll hear more about that in a second. This next company is going to take us into the category of customer insights. I have a pretty hard rule about lawyers and startups. They generally don't make great entrepreneurs. This next guy is the exception of that. Coming up and tell us more about it.
That's right, I am an attorney. I'll start off by apologizing, I guess. So I'm James McDermott. I am the CEO and co-founder at Lytx. Lytx is a customer data platform, and our mission is to help brands connect more deeply with their consumers. And the way we do that is we help companies get all of the data that they have about their consumers and put it into a single place where they can use it and orchestrate cross-channel campaigns. So I'm going to start the presentation with a short story. This here is Shayna. Shayna, she recently got her hair dyed, and she also happens to be your best customer. She comes into your coffee shop every single day, and she orders the same exact coffee. Fortunately, the person at the counter, she knows Shayna, and she mentions her by name, and she knows what she's going to order, and so it's right there ready to go. Shayna is your best customer, and she comes in every single day because she knows she's going to get a great experience. So like any great story, there needs to be a problem, an obstacle. So what is the problem? The problem is that your business has gotten more complex. You're not just a store anymore, right? You have a website, you have a mobile app, you're sending emails. Essentially, you are interacting with Shayna on all of these different channels using a bunch of different tools. Marketing has gotten really complicated. And the problem that you have now is you don't really know Shayna across all of these different channels. You've lost the ability to understand who she is and what she cares about. That's where Lytx comes in. Lytx is a customer data platform that helps you stitch together all of the information that you have about Shayna that's meaningful. We use machine learning and data science to interpret those signals, bring them into a single place so that you can start to drive meaningful interactions with her across channels. We believe at Lytx we're at a really critical juncture for brands. It's time for brands to start behaving like the companies that consumers love, like Netflix, like Facebook, like Spotify. Brands have a choice. We can either start treating individuals, our customers, as individuals, or we can rely on the tactics of the past and keep treating them like targets or clicks or anonymous visitors. At Lytx, we put your customer back at the center of your business, where they belong. It's really important as a company to understand the people that are interacting with your brand, the people that care about your brand, and to build meaningful experiences and deliver those across multiple channels. Last week, we were very pleased to announce our new orchestration canvas. This took all of the hard work that we've been doing underneath the the surface, and made a really easy to use UI, a drag and drop capability that allows marketers for the first time to create and manage cross-channel experiences. You can do that across channels and across all of your different tools. We work with many wonderful brands, and I'm going to tell you 3 examples. The first one is Heineken. The head of digital came to us and said, we have a challenge at Heineken, which is we don't have a single database where we have all of our information stored about our consumers. We need to drive authentic relationships with our consumers, but we don't know them well enough. How do we do that? At Lytics, we're able to help them build that single integrated database to deliver meaningful experiences at every touch point. Another brand I think everybody is familiar with is Doc Martens. So again, the global head of digital came to us and he said, we have a huge problem, which is we've got all these amazing customers that come to us and they shop in store, and we have a great online experience, but we're not able to understand those two together. We were able to stitch together that information and help them deliver online experiences that drove a 300% increase in conversions. We also work with The Economist. So the head of marketing at The Economist came to us and said, subscriptions are our lifeblood. We have to turn anonymous people that are consuming our content into subscribers. How do we do that? And we want to use data science. We want to be forward-leaning. We want to start to think about how do we use all of this data to predict who is likely to subscribe. And so with Lytics, they were able to drive subscriptions by more than 2x just by identifying people who were likely to subscribe, anonymous people that were visiting their site that were ready to become subscribers. We're also very pleased to announce that we are one of the only audience match partners for Snapchat. So as part of our RGA experience, we're able to get access to their APIs. And now some of our great customers are onboarding audiences directly to Snapchat to run really interesting targeted ads. So why do brands choose Lytics? I think it's really simple. As companies today, we're struggling with the complexity of marketing. We need a way to simplify what we're doing, to go back to basics, which is deliver great content to people that's relevant and that matters. We work with a lot of great brands. Obviously, every company that we talk to seems to have the same challenge. How do we start to orchestrate meaningful cross-channel experiences in an easy way? If you are one of the brands that's thinking about this problem, that wants to understand your consumers more deeply, that wants to start to orchestrate these cross-channel experiences, please come and see me afterwards. Thank you.
Thanks, James. By the way, my wife tells me that my hang up with lawyers has nothing to do with startups. It's that I wasn't smart enough to get into law school. So you got me there, James. So, by the way, my wife and I celebrated 24 years of marriage yesterday. And thank you. Thank you. But if I had to do it all over again today, I would come back as this guy who's coming up next. Neil from Lytics, who's a co-founder, and he is living a charmed life, to say the least, running an amazing business with amazing co-founders and amazing traction, the world over. One of my favorite things about Neil is his ability to tell a really interesting story. He's going to tell you one today. But let me kick you off with a little fun fact about Neil. And there's so many, but one of my favorites is the Necker Island weekend with Sir Richard Branson. So let's start there and have you come up, Neil, and tell us more about your company, Whaler.
A, I want to meet Gene's wife, and B, I now feel under tremendous pressure. So I'm Neil, I'm the co-founder of Whaler. We'll start with the fun fact then. Myself and my co-founder James ran a consumer brand, and then we were on an e-commerce platform called Shopify. We were fortunate enough to win their Build a Business prize, and the prize was a week on Necker Island with Richard Branson, which was a pretty cool week. And it was there that we came up with the idea for Whaler, and it's because we had influencer marketing at the heart of our consumer brands. And so Whaler is an influencer marketing platform, but the focus is around creativity. And so we have this mission statement of liberating the creative voice. And we're a Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram partner, and actually we are the only Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram partner for influencers. We launched a little over 18 months ago, So we're pretty proud and pretty humbled of the brand list we've been able to work with. We've worked now with more than 200 brands across 40 plus markets. And actually, as well, we're real partners for agencies. Half our work comes through agencies as well. So as mentioned, Whale is an influencer marketing platform. And I think the key thing that you'll see going through this is hopefully a slightly different view on influencers. That term describes an entire industry of individuals, and we have this focus on creators. So we label them as creators with influence. And for us, these individuals are part creative. You'll see some of their work. They're real creative stars that they have. They're part publishers, because they are influencers. They have these channels with engaged audiences that they've learned to talk to. And then the important piece, they're consumers. So let's say you're Johnson & Johnson wanting to do a campaign reaching out to first-time mothers around the world. Well, why not work with a creative community that are first-time mothers in different parts of the world? And it's that matching process that helps drive relevancy, context, and authenticity in marketing messages. So let me show you some of the individuals to kind of get that sense of another type of influencer that's out there. And it's these amazing creators, visual artists, people playing around with geometry and perspectives. And you see with each of these people, they have a real viewpoint. They have a brand in their own right. They speak in a certain way. They create in a certain way. And it's in us understanding these and then matching them to the appropriate brand that they might want to work with. Each of them is a brand, really, and it's that brand match. And so it's thinking about, well, who would Nike work with? Who would Adidas work with? Who would Heineken work with? These brands coming together. So if you're wanting to reach an audience of foodies, this is Paulina in Germany. She's all about healthy living. This is a great person to help you understand how to reach that market, how to work. And she has a following on these channels, not because she's famous, but because she knows how to talk to that audience and she knows how to create content for that audience. And that's what you're tapping into. And then we look at some of the work that they create. Here's just some examples, and I love the one on the top right, the dancing shadow. That was done for Apple Music. When Apple saw that, they thought that is so iconically Apple, but they hadn't thought of doing that themselves on Instagram and Snapchat. And so it was a member of this creative community that had taken the brief and come up with that idea. I also love the mirror. Do you see this was for Benefit Cosmetics, just a little bit of movement in the mirror playing around. This community is also the ones testing the new technologies, testing the new styles of creating first. And that's something that agencies and brands get to tap into to stay ahead of the curve. And then if we come to a case study of Dyson. Now, I like this case study for a couple of reasons. First, it's the first work we ever did 18 months ago. And I think it's pretty cool to be able to stand here and show work done 18 months ago as our first campaign. And then to give RGA some credit. They came to us with that first work. They discovered us and came with this project. So it was when Dyson were launching the hairdryer. And what's interesting for me on this slide, one of the common things is liberating the creative voice, is working with lots of different people, just going to give a hodgepodge of content that doesn't feel together, doesn't feel like it comes from one campaign. Every single image here is by a different creator in a different market, yet it's got a consistency across all of it. So for Dyson, they work with 15 creators in 9 different markets around the world. All were health and beauty and fitness influencers. Each also shared some content with their own audience. Dyson repurposed the creative for organic and paid for social. And then the real kicker is the content impressed them so much, it went above the line. It went on the side of buses, it went in print, it went on digital billboards. Through this, you're getting usage rights and can repurpose the content in other places. And it's a bit like the Apple iPhone shot on an iPhone, who's it done by? You can also reference and tell the story of the individual creator, who's also an influencer in that market. And then if we look at cost, this cost Dyson $80,000 to effectively do a shoot in 9 different markets around the world. And then I think the other great case study that we have is Dior. It's a high-end luxury fashion brand that wouldn't normally think of collaborating with people to create content for them. Dior did a campaign with us where they worked with 200 different creators across 58 markets in one single campaign, all done inside a month. Each creator produced one asset that they also shared with their own audience, but Dior were then reusing this. I think you'll agree the creativity from the community is right up there. Dior were blown away by it. But what also came was localization. So this all feels like it belongs to one big campaign picture. But now if we look through some slides from market, so this is the work done in Europe. And then we've got the work done in Australia. It all looks like it comes from the same campaign, but actually the setting, the people in the shot, the culture of it, it is localized to Australia. Same for Africa. As you see, this was a way for Dior to run a global campaign getting localized creative that they felt was completely controllable to the brand message that Dior was trying to put out there. It all felt like their global campaign content initiative, but everything was then localized through real people, real storytelling. They all shared with their own audience, and then Dior were able to reuse this. I've learned now that even they've got digital billboards in Dior stores that are playing this work as well, showing real people and real creativity. So why Whaler? Well, influencer marketing's been around for ages. We're just a platform to help professionalize it. So Whaler's focus is on creators. We're trying to find the best creators to work with a brand. It's global in its coverage, so we can find people in any market. The speed, it can be anything from 1 to 4 weeks for full delivery from a creative brief to the final product. The procurement process, can you imagine trying to contract 200 people to work on a project? Just one vendor. And the approval process is really important. So we get a brief, we suggest the creators, the brand or agency are signing off on which creators they want to work with, and then they're signing off on the creative that's being produced. So while it's this notion of liberating the creative voice, there's also a control mechanism to it to make sure you're getting what you need. And then the usage rights is the really important piece, because the power of this is how you can use that creative in all sorts of different channels. And actually think about insights as well. These are consumers. What you'll learn in different markets from them will be really interesting as well. So that's Whaler. That's how we liberate the creative voice. Hopefully it gives you a slightly different view on influencer marketing, and I'd love to chat to anyone afterwards. For you?
So the Green Room was sponsored by a cannabis company from the West Coast, and I don't remember much of the last hour, to be honest with you. I'm really hungry, but I think that's it. I think we went through all the companies. I'm going to ask everybody to come back up, all the founders and co-founders, and if we can maybe get a couple of the folks up from our team. Maggie Hogan, who was our program director and just did an amazing job helping us get this cohort to the finish line. Liz, we met Jonathan, obviously, Nico, etc. Let's get some folks up here for a quick photo, and then the founders will be around for the next 45 minutes to an hour. If you have questions, please come up to them and engage with them, talk to them about new business opportunities or otherwise, and we really appreciate everybody coming out today. Thank you.